All right, let's talk about something that I think a lot of us are dealing with right now. It's this constant tug of war, right? Trying to be empathetic and there for everyone, but also desperately trying to protect our own peace of mind. Well, we're going to explore how a really, really old philosophy might just be the solution we need today. So, does that sound familiar? I mean, that daily juggle, it's like you're being pulled in a million different directions at once. You want to be a good friend, a good partner, a good colleague, but you just end up feeling totally drained and overwhelmed. It is such a tough balancing act, and I promise you, you are not the only one feeling this. Okay, so what if I told you the answer isn't some new app or the latest wellness trend? What if the guide we've been looking for is actually 2,000 years old? Yeah, you heard that right. We're about to dive into Stoic philosophy and see how it can help us solve some very, very modern problems. All right, let's get into it. Think of this as building your own personal Stoic toolkit. And like any good toolkit, we've got to start with the foundations. We're going to look at two huge ideas that everything else is built on. First, what we can control, and second, how we deal with, well, fate. First up, and this one is a game changer. It's called the dichotomy of control. It's so simple, but so powerful. The Stoics basically said, for anything that's stressing you out, just ask yourself one question. Is this actually in my control? If the answer is yes, like your own choices, your own attitude, great. Focus all your energy there. But if the answer is no, like what someone else does or says, then stressing about it is literally just draining your battery for nothing. And that idea leads us right into this next one, Amor Fati. It's Latin for love of fate. Now, I know what you're thinking, but this is not about just rolling over and giving up. It's actually a super powerful choice to accept everything that happens, the good, the bad, the ugly, and see it all as necessary. It's about making peace with reality so you can actually work with it, not against it. And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophical concept. Think about modern therapy. A huge part of it is learning to accept your reality before you can start to reframe it. And in a world where, get this, an estimated 264 million people suffer from depression, well, having tools that help us work with our reality instead of constantly fighting it, that's not just helpful, it's absolutely vital. This ancient wisdom is incredibly relevant today. Okay, so we've got the mindset down. We understand control and fate. Now let's get super practical. We're going to talk about a couple of mental exercises you can actually do to shift your perspective whenever you're feeling stuck or just totally overwhelmed. So this first one is called negative visualization. And I know it sounds a little weird. Why would you want to imagine bad things happening? But as Isabella Chase, the author of our source material, found out, imagining losing that job she was so stressed about was weirdly calming. It has this strange power to ground you, make you grateful for what you have right now, and really clarify what's actually important. Here's another one I love. It's called The View from Above. It's so simple. Next time you're just consumed by a problem, I want you to try this. Picture it in your mind. Okay, now zoom out. See your whole neighborhood, your city. Now zoom out again, see the country. And then again, until you see the entire planet floating in space. Your problem doesn't just disappear, of course not, but suddenly its weight feels different, doesn't it? You see, it's just one tiny part of a much, much bigger picture. All right, so we've gone from big mindsets to specific mental exercises. Now let's talk about daily habits. These are the little things you can weave into your everyday life to build that mental resilience and find that inner peace we're all after. Okay, let's tackle a big one, apatheia. Now, it is so important to get this right. This does not mean apathy. It's the total opposite. Apatheia isn't about becoming a robot and feeling nothing. It's about not being a hostage to your emotions. It's that state of inner calm that allows you to respond to things thoughtfully instead of just reacting. Think of it this way. Apatheia is your shield. You know that feeling when a wave of empathy just washes over you and completely clouds your judgment? Or when someone says something sharp and it just hits you right in the gut? This practice is what helps you stand your ground and keep your cool. You still feel it all, but you are the one in control, not your emotions. The Stoics also had a really interesting take on forgiveness. They saw it as this incredibly powerful tool, and this is the key part, it's for you. It's not about saying what the other person did was okay, and it's definitely not about letting them walk all over your boundaries again. It's about you letting go of the resentment that's only weighing you down. It's about your own freedom. All right, here's a super practical habit you can literally start tonight.
It's the evening reflection. Just think of it as a quick daily check-in with yourself. By asking these simple questions, you start to see patterns. You'll understand why you reacted a certain way, and you'll get way more intentional about how you want to handle things tomorrow.
And that brings us to a final, really core Stoic idea. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is impermanent. People, situations, even our own feelings, they're all constantly changing. And when you really embrace that, it doesn't make you detached. Actually, it makes you more mindful. It helps you soak up the good moments while they're here, and it helps you get through the tough times knowing that they too will pass.
So there you have it. We've talked about the big foundational ideas, the mental exercises you can do, and the daily habits you can build. You've officially got your starter Stoic toolkit. Now, it's all about taking that first step.
The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it perfectly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And that really just sums up this whole thing, doesn't it? Our real power isn't in trying to control every little thing out there. It's in mastering our response to those things. That's where you find your freedom. That's where you find your peace. And please, remember this. This is not some rigid rule book you have to follow perfectly. Think of all these ideas as soft clay. You get to take them and shape them to fit your life and your unique challenges. The whole point isn't to become some perfect Stoic statue overnight. The goal is just growth, little by little. So, that leaves us with one final question for you. We've gone through this whole toolkit. Which one of these ideas really jumped out at you? Which tool are you going to try out first, maybe even today? Because that journey to a more balanced, more peaceful life, it really does begin with that one simple choice.